Chael Sonnen was once asked who he thought was the best, Jon Jones or Anderson Silva. Since Sonnen had already faced both legends, he was one of the best people to comment on this subject, and the American's answer was the following: Jon Jones is the man evilest in the world, and he said that because among the many controversies involving Jon Jones, mainly inside the octagon, one of the most commented and even criticized are his fight tactics, because Jon Jones seems to have zero empathy and even seems to like to hurt his opponent's knee kicks, twisting opponent's arms, fingering the eye are some of the tactics most used by Jones in his fights. And that coldness and the reputation of seeming to enjoy hurting his opponents willingly or not makes Jon Jones an even scarier fighter. There was a fight where we got a great sense of how cold and scary Jon Jones is, a fight that yielded one of the coldest and most shocking scenes in UFC history, and that was in Jones' second belt defense when he was only 24 years. Welcome to the channel. In this video we are going to start a new style of video on the channel. In Chronicles of Today's Fights, we're going to talk about the day Jon Jones almost killed Lyoto Machida. Jon Jones was the youngest champion in the entire history of the UFC with only 23 years. The young Jones, with 1.93 meters tall and 215 centimeters of wingspan, was played against the light heavyweight champion and former Pride champion Mauricio Shogun. Jon Jones caught this fight at the last minute. Who was supposed to face Shogun was Jon Jones's training partner Rashad Evans at the time, and then, with little less than a month in advance, Rashad Evans got injured and had to pull out of the fight, and Jon Jones took his place. Jones simply demolished the Brazilian champion, and after winning the title, Jones became the target of a category filled with former champions and legends. Right away, his first belt defense was against another former UFC and Pride champion, the American Quinton "Rampage" Jackson. Jones dominated Rampage, finished in the fourth round, and defended his title for the first time, and 3 months later Jones already had another belt defense scheduled, and again against another former champion of the category, this time the great Brazilian karateka Lyoto Machida, who was living in his prime of his career. The fight would be the main event of UFC 140, scheduled for December 2011 in Toronto, Canada, and Lyoto has always been an extremely complicated fighter for all his opponents, who had a lot of difficulty reading and dealing with his karate. Jones also admitted that Lyoto was one of the most talked about and feared fighters by his friends and training partners. In his heyday, Lyoto was a complicated opponent for any fighter in the UFC, and for Jon Jones it would be no different due to the marriage of styles. They even said at the time that this would be Jon Jones' biggest challenge. On December 10, 2011, 24-year-old Jones left to face the third former UFC champion in a row in his second belt defense. Jones starts the fight crouched. After that, he entered the fight adopting a posture with his shoulders raised, typical of Muay Thai, which would refer to his fight strategy, which was to kick Lyoto's legs, a strategy adopted by Mauricio Shogun himself, and was very successful with it. The problem is that as the fight progressed, Lyoto managed to make a great reading and caught the time of Jones' attacks, and every time the champion entered with a kick, Lyoto immediately countered with his punches, hitting powerful blows to the face. Machida was also managing to invade Jones' reach when he advanced and left with his combinations, and as expected, Jon was having a lot of difficulties with Lyoto in the first round and in the final stretch, which was when he landed an accurate counter that sent Jones swinging for the first and only time of his career. It may have been the only time Jon Jones came close to being knocked down. And then, after losing the first round, Jon Jones' team arrived and said the following: "Jon, you need to better combine your hands with your kicks, or else you need to feint a kick to fit a punch." For the second round, Jones connected a hard right hand on the face that rocked Lyoto Machida. The champion took advantage of the moment and went down, and on the ground he connected an elbow that opened a big cut on the face of the Brazilian. Machida stayed on his feet, but the referee asked for the doctors to evaluate this cut, and once released, the fight continued. But according to Lyoto, after the fight, this cut disturbed his vision a lot. Jones put his team's plan into practice, feinted a kick and connected with his left hand. Lyoto immediately went to the ground. Jones didn't give him space and already looked for his neck, while the Brazilian got up, fitting a guillotine while he was standing. According to Jones, he felt it that could have broken Lyoto's neck in that position. He then continued with the pressure on his neck, and it looked like Lyoto was still in the fight. As soon as the referee saw Lyoto's arm fall, he knew the fight was totally over. The referee then stopped the fight, and as soon as Jones released the grip, Lyoto's unconscious body fell to the ground in a shocking scene. It even looked like he was lifeless, and without looking back, Jones walked out celebrating his second belt defense, winning a former UFC champion for the third time in a row. Well guys, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel and leave your like. We want to reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers and I would like to ask for your help. See you in the next video.